Good morning. So we're going to talk about functions today. I want to make sure. I want to make sure that everybody understands why. I want to make sure everybody understands why these functions. Okay. So I brought up the compiler, and let's try doing a few demos with the idea of we understand exactly how they're used and why they're used. So let's say that I want to create a program that calculates areas. Okay? So the user will input length and width, and then we'll do some various calculations on that. Okay? We'll use functions to do that. So what type of loop should I use, do you think? What would be some of my options for using loops so that the user can keep entering data? What would be some of my options, Tyler?
Do a while.
I definitely probably want to do while. Actually, I think we'll switch to a do while to show examples too, but I'd like to start with a while. And what should my condition for my while be, do you think? I have a couple options. There's not one answer here. Yeah, so should we do a yes or no one since we have length and width? So we want this pretty much always in main. You're going to be repeating. So we're going to set up, and just bear with me on the bad typing. Unless anybody would like to come up here and take my place. So I'm going to set up the while loop, which is where I always start. I told you always start with the condition of the while loop. And this means that this is the step 2 of the while, or the test step. So how would I get this loop going? I cross the user, and then the reason I selected a while loop to begin with was what? What is the difference between a while loop and a do while? So I could decide if I get into the wrong program, I could say no. And that's what I like about that. I don't like forcing the user through and having to enter data. So I generally prefer the while loops for most applications because sometimes you select the wrong app and you want to get out. So this way, if they say no, anything besides why, they'll get out of this program. So then what we're going to do is we're going to ask them to enter length and width. And what type should I make length and width, do you think? Well, it sort of depends what it is. If it's a room, then probably float because you could do a half, 10 and a half feet. So let's make it float. Haven't really specified what I'm doing the length and width of. Okay? And then I'm going to first write this code without a function. So if I want to calculate the area, I need to add a variable for that. And then calculate the area, which is length times width. And then see out the int. And then I need to make sure that I ask again so that I have the ability to go back through the loop. Okay? So this is just sort of to make sure that people are also up to speed with the while loops and feel comfortable setting these up. Let me see if I have any compile errors. Okay, so if I now run this program, this will ask me whether I want to play, and then I'm going to enter length and width, and it's going to keep, keep giving me the, I spelled a few things wrong here, keep allowing me to enter length and width until I specify no, okay? So that's fairly straightforward. I'd like to fix some of my, I'd also feel like I need a little bit of, I could use another line here. Okay, there's a space here. Okay, so now this time what I'd like to do is I'd like to move this code to a function, okay? So I'm going to grab the area code, and I'm actually going to write a function that displays the area. So I'm going to move this code down below to create a new function. And if the name of my function is display area, whoops, no spaces, note that function names begin with a cap. That's a convention in C. It's different in Java, sorry. But in C, we use caps for functions, okay? So now, we have two types of functions. We have a void and a value returning. And this guy begins with a verb, and it's going to be a void, and it's not going to return anything, so I'm going to make it void. And I'll talk more about this in a second, because we'll do one that's not void. But the void functions, question?
Yeah, is the purpose of placing your variable inside of the brackets so that you can call the new function and it will receive the data from that?
Exactly.
Okay, so you can still call a variable inside of the brackets, or inside of the curly brackets.
So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to, now look at my function. Length and width and area are not known inside this function. Okay? So I'm going to have to declare them somewhere. What I'd like to be able to do is send length and width in, because I got them in the main function. So I'm going to actually, get your question 1 second, let me just finish this thought. So here's length, and here's width, and these are what we call arguments or parameters, right? I also need to declare area, so I need to declare area what we call local to the function. Okay? So let me answer Irene's question.
Wait, void means you're not returning any values.
So I'm not returning any values.
Okay.
Now, well, I lost my, oh wait, this is a big mistake. Don't do what I just did. The main has to end before I start the new, I would have gotten syntax here, but main has to end before I start the new one. And a lot of times inside main we do return 0, and I'm going to go ahead and do that, okay? Because main is not a void function, is it? Main is a value returning function. So that's why we, guess what? If it's value returning, guess what we do? No way. Value returning functions return values. Okay? Got it? Yeah?
So 0 kind of just like a dummy?
0 usually means success, Adam. So when we return 0, it means it works. If I returned an error message, a negative number, typically that would return back to the operating system an error indicating what had happened. So typically when we return 0 from main, that says this program worked, there were no errors. Okay? So anyway, main is a function, and it has its own brackets and its own space. Display area is a function, it has its own brackets, it's not inside main, it's disjoint, right? So are there any questions? So now typically the other thing that I do is I put some kind of delineator just so I see the different functions. So do you see the difference between length and width and area? Area is just a variable that's declared inside a function. When we declare a variable inside a function, we call that
Parameters.
well, no, look at the term here. These guys are parameters. Length and width are parameters. And I use the term parameters and or arguments interchangeably. Okay? Length and width are the parameters. Anything that's inside these parentheses is the parameter. These are the parameters. Notice I do a full definition here. A full definition. I formally declare what these arguments are going to look like. This tells whoever calls display area what it's waiting for. So what has to be sent to display area when it's called? Two floats. Two floats. And the first one will be referred to as length, and the second one will be referred to as width. So hold that thought. We're going to call it in a second. Now, this guy right here is what we call a local variable. And what do you think I mean by local? What do you think I mean by local?
Specific to
the function. Only known inside that function. Only known inside display area. Okay? So, any questions about setting up this function so far? So we basically put the work somewhere else into a unit or module. We call it a function. It's going to do the work for us, and we're now going to call it or invoke it. That's our job from another place, okay? So if I now want to call it, after I got the length and width, who remembers how to call display area? Tyler? I just give it the name, and then notice if you spell it wrong, it's going to squawk. The compiler's going to squawk. And since I have length and width here, I'm going to pass them in. Notice that this is tricky. You ready? This length and width are different than this length and width. And as a matter of fact, just to show you, I'm going to call these guys something different. So if I call, it's up here in my program, I read in length and width, I call display area with whatever I have in length and width, and pass it down to the function. Okay? The arguments in the call must match, the arguments in the call must match the arguments in the definition. Okay? Otherwise, most likely you get a syntax error, but it won't work. There are a few exceptions. That gets complicated. But in general, when we call an argument, when we call a function, we must send the corresponding arguments to it. Okay? Now, let's watch. Okay, now there's one other thing you have to do in C to make this compiler happy, and that is you have to declare it. Let me show you what happens if I don't. Okay? So it works. Okay, so display area. Can everybody see at the bottom? It says display area not found. Because when it gets here, it doesn't know what it is. So the compiler is not happy, so I need to kind of promise it because it doesn't see display area yet. It's going through line, translating. What the heck's display area? Just like if length and width weren't declared, it would give you another there. So in C, I do something kind of like a pre-definition. And prior to main, I come up here and I call this guy. Does anybody know what we call this? So it's going to work the same because I just moved this. So yes, I want to do it, and I want to enter 45 and 67, and I've got my area. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to enter 7 and 12, and I'm going to say no. So does anybody see advantages to kind of breaking up this? Can you see any advantages to the? Yeah, Adam?
When you have a really complex program, like it makes it easier to like look through and fix
Yeah.
like one part.
Imagine a program that's a million lines long, which is not that hard imagination. Imagine they're just one line after the other, or a whole program. And imagine your job is to fix something. Where the heck would you find what you're going to fix? Whereas if you have well-named functions, at least it directs you with sort of like a table of contents. Jared?
Also, if you have two separate people working on the separate portions and they name them differently, it won't matter.
True. So that we can add in, remember we talked about the advantage of dividing up the work and giving other people functions to do things. The other thing is sometimes I want to repeat this code. So if rather than doing the code twice, if I put it in a function, many people can call it. Okay? So this is a pretty simple function. I want to give you let's review some of these terms again. So why is this a void function again? It doesn't return anything. Okay? And what are these guys called again? Arguments or parameters. And what are these guys called again? Those are also arguments and parameters. But in this case, I call these the actual. This is going to make a difference down the road, so try to get this term. I call these guys the actual arguments, and I call these guys the formal arguments. Okay, let me say that again. So when I formally declare the function, I call these arguments the formal arguments. When I call the function, I call them the actual arguments. There's other ways that I could call display area. I could decide at the very beginning of this program I want to call display area, and I want to pass a 10 and a 5. Is this a legal call? Yeah. All display area cares. All display area cares is that you send it to floats. So let's take it floats just so that. So this is, I can call it multiple times in any order. I can pass it a variable. I can pass a natural value. What happens when I call display area this time is that len gets 10.3 and WID gets, whatever I send it, 5, and we'll do the area calculation for that. So I can call functions multiple times, and that sort of is the idea. That's sort of the idea. Everybody see that? Question. Questions. Yeah.
When there are variables, you want the formal and actual ones to be named the same or different?
It's totally up to you. Remember that somebody else might have created this function, and you have no idea what they named it. All you know is you need to pass it a float. That's the length. So you can call it room length, you can call it box length, you can call it boat length, you know what I mean? So they have different applications, okay? So it's totally up to you. You just have to, whatever you're using, you have to declare locally to your function. So, go ahead.
How come, like, for when if you scroll up, you put like 10.3 and 5, whatever?
Okay, because I decided to do another call just to show you. And I wanted to show you that you don't necessarily need to send a variable. You can actually send a value.
So like when the user turns function 1, like...
This will just run it. Let's run it. This will just run it on the computer the user does it. So this is just sort of random, to quote your kid's term. It's kind of random, okay? So I randomly displayed the area, but then I can still go ahead and do whatever I want to input, run it myself, okay? So I just showed another call, another way to call it. So you can call it with a variable. The only requirements are, what are the only requirements when you're calling display area? That you must be passing what? Okay, well, technically, the compiler doesn't really know. All the compiler cares about is you're passing what? 2 floats. 2 floats. If you get width and height messed wrong order, that's your problem. All the compiler, all this program, remember it's a stupid computer, all this program's going to do is the first value you give it, it's going to make length. The second value you give it, it's going to make width. Right? That's it. Okay.
You have to have area as a local variable and also...
Well, let me show you another way of doing it. Okay, so I don't even use area here, right? So I don't need area here, okay? So, but I want to show you that there's options with functions. Okay, so but that's actually an excellent point. So if I asked you the scope of a variable, the scope of a variable is where a variable can be seen. Okay? So would you agree that the scope of area is local to display area? Okay? What is the scope of int? Local to me. What is the scope of this length? Local to me. And what do I mean when I say local to me? Only known inside me. If I try to use length here, I would get a syntax error. Why would I get a syntax error if I tried to use length there? Display area does not know what length is. Let's do it. So length is an undeclared identifier right here. Because, does everybody see that? Length is unknown here because it's not declared inside the function. Do you see that? Okay? Everybody's paying attention, quick. Because everybody is so well in the loop quiz that they don't need to follow it. Okay. So phones are away and no distractions. Let's just check it. Okay. So now let's try this another way. Let me fix this. Okay? This time, I'm going to do a value returning function. You ready? I'm going to do a value returning function. So I'm going to let's write a perimeter function. You could do the same thing for area, but I'm going to write a perimeter. Now, notice that it doesn't begin with a verb, but instead it's actually the answer. So, a value returning function returns the type. And if I have length and width of floats, then the perimeter is going to be a float also. Okay? So, does everybody see the difference from the very beginning here? So the display area, first of all, began with a verb, indicating that it does something and that may not return anything. Perimeter is of type float because this type of function is value returning function, which means that value returning functions do what? Return values. And in this case, it's going to return a float. Okay? So we're again going to pass length and width, so I can go ahead and set up my arguments. That's going to be the same thing. But what's going to be different here, so this is a value returning function, okay? So it's always going to have a return as the last statement in the function because, as we said, value returning functions return value, okay? So this one is going to return perimeter back to the main dot, okay? But we're still going to pass length and width. We're going to do the calculation. But it's going to return value. Now get ready, because this is a little bit different the way we call it. You ready? So when I call a value returning function, I kind of have to do something. So if I just call it like this, what happened to the answer that I gave the return? Stop and space. This is not a good call to a value returning function. Answer is lost in space. Okay? So when I call a value returning function, I must do something with the value returned. Okay? So one option, I have a couple options. One is to put it into a local variable called param, and then display that. Do I have this spelled wrong? Oh, shoot. So then I'm just going to display it down here. So take a good look. This is the trickier part about the value returning function. So, okay, when we set up the value returning function, it seems like everything's peachy keen. The only difference here really is we give it a type because this indicates the type of what's going to be returned, and we return the value that we've calculated inside this function. What you have to remember is when you call this guy, it's your responsibility to do something with the answer that's being returned right here. So one option is to assign it to another variable. Okay? Another option, are you ready? Another option is to just call it right away. So let's run this just so you believe me that this is working. I'm not making this up just to torture you. Okay? Oh, what's wrong here? Why did I get perimeter not defined right here? I need to prototype this guy. Okay? So I need to prototype this guy up top. It basically means copy the header and put a semicolon after the... Okay, so let's see if I've made the compiler happy. I have an error from double the float, but this is a warning at this point, so... Okay, so I still have that random area. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say 10 and 5. And now I have both the area and the perimeter being calculated for. Okay? Alright, so let's take a close look again. So a void function typically begins with a verb. Nothing's returned from it. It does things, it can have arguments, but there's no value being returned back. Okay? Alright? A value returning function is typically mathematical just like this. Sort of, where have you heard the term function before? In math, okay? Another place where you've heard the term function is in Excel spreadsheet. Who's used functions in Excel spreadsheet? Okay? So when you put a function in an Excel spreadsheet, what shows up in that cell? Doesn't the answer show up in the cell? Okay? So when I call a value returning function, I have to do something with the answer. If I do this, let me see if I get an error. Well, I'm going to get an error because this one won't know what to do, but I don't think I'm going to get an error, but it depends on the compiler settings. Well, just that I didn't reference param, which we know. But what happens right here? Essentially nothing. Because this is value returning, and I've done nothing with the value, this was sort of a wasted call. So one option is to assign it to a variable. The other option is I can plug this right in to a... Let's try doing a couple of these, and then I will do some more demo, okay? Let's go to... So let's now... Well, let me do one more, and then we'll try. I'm going to change this program. Let's change this program, and we'll go back, and then we'll do this process, I promise, okay? I'm going to change this program to a menu with a do-while, okay? So let's go back here, and let's print a menu, okay? So I want to say cout. So what options do I have so far? I have area. I'm going to let the user choose what they want to compute, okay? Okay, so this is printing a menu. Does everybody agree? Now, how would I make this guy a function? Well, what would I name this? If I were to put this stuff into a function, what would I call this? Yeah. Why did I make it void? Not returning. This is a typical void function. It does some of the jump for you. It's not exciting. There's no even arguments passed to it. Okay? But it does that stuff. It does print menu, that's what it does. So now, how do I call this sucker? Let's get rid of this one. This is random. How do I call this from main? What do I call it? I call it. Yeah, should we change this to display? This print kind of sounds like it's on the screen. Okay, so in order to call this guy, I'm going to come up to main, no void in the call. Everybody wants to do this. Okay? That's my call. Okay? So when I create a simple void function, I just give the name of the function. If there's arguments, I put them there. If not, I leave the parens open. Let me put this into a do while, and I'm going to put this into a do while, okay? And it's going to display the menu. Read and eat choice. Actually, we're going to read in something with first. And then we're going to display the menu.
When you put it to a variable, do you put it as a string or do you put it as a control?
Sorry, Jer?
When you put it into a variable, do you call the variable as a character or string?
So either an integer or a char. If I do, so I'm going to do a switch now. That's what you're talking about the choice, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
placing your function into a variable so you can...
Oh. Wait a second. You mean the perimeter? Right here? Or if I call it right here?
Yeah, the prim thing you did.
Okay, so what type is perimeter? Let's go back and look. It is float.
Okay, so then
Okay.
you called it.
I could call it whatever I'm returning. I mean, I can define it whatever. If I'm returning a string, it could be string.
Okay.
If I'm returning an int, it's int.
Okay.
So it's whatever the value is being returned. Okay? Okay, so I think I'm going to try to write too much code before I answer the question that's on the table here. But, okay, so now we're getting to your question. Okay? So here's what we did. We created display menu down here. This is the function definition. So when remember I told you there's 3 steps in C for a function? The first step is generally declaring, create, what word should we use? What would you call this? Declare, define, build the function. Okay? So the first step is actually creating the function. Deciding what type it is, deciding what arguments, deciding what the function does. This happens after main, and it has whatever code. Typically functions are short. They're long, you're doing too much in it. Okay? So I create the function, step 1. Step 2 is I write the call to the function because this won't be useful unless I call it. Does everybody understand the call to that? This is the easiest function we can write. So please tell me you get this. So yes. Okay, so now the third step, which is just a C thing. This is just C. Java doesn't have the same requirement. Is I have to let the compiler know that there's a function coming. And I just basically say this is what the function's going to look like. That just makes the compiler happy. And this is the prototype. And if I don't do it, I get an error. And that's the bottom line. Does everybody understand those 3 steps? Create, call, and prototype. Not all languages require you to prototype. Okay? But because C is reading, the problem is it's pretty simple. C looks at this and says, what the heck is this? Undeclared identifier. Because it's not looking ahead. Okay, so it's sort of like a promise that the display menu is coming later. So everybody see that? Okay, so that is the simple, easy, squeezy function you can do. It's a void function, no arguments, no return. So everybody should feel comfortable being able to do that.